Yo, hope you're having a dope day and thank you for tuning in. This is the Sneaker People Pod, and I'm Chris Chu. For those wondering, yes, this is the Sneaker Podcast presentation. So shout out to the guys over at TSP. Today we are welcoming as a return guest, Mr. Sean Go. How's it going, Sean?
Pretty good, man. Thanks for having me here.
Yep. Definitely a pleasure. Definitely a pleasure. Sean and I go way back, I guess we can say, in sneaker terms. Um, why I mentioned this was a return guest is this is probably take number 2.1 of this interview. We did record our previous interview in its entirety, and my bad, the audio was kind of crap. So yeah, Sean is gracious enough to join me again on the interview, and I think this time it'll come out clean. Yeah, yeah.
Fingers crossed this time, man.
Fingers
We
crossed.
got this. We got this.
And you mentioned how it's kind of a trend, the bad audio on podcasts.
Yeah, I was telling you, I was part of the True to Size podcast with the Canada Got Soul boys, and
Yeah.
I was the guest for their 2019 end of year sneaker pick awards. We spent like an hour and a half filming or recording this whole video, or sorry, this whole podcast, and then Lawrence realizes the day after, he's like, "Oh, damn,
the,
the audio actually didn't record."
the red light wasn't on the whole time,
Yeah,
or this wire is loose. What's up? Yeah.
probably just an excuse to get me back on.
Now that you think back, maybe it was like a precursor to like 2020.
I
The,
know,
the
right?
2019 review went poorly, and then it's like everything went to shit. It's all your guys' fault.
A sign of things to come, man.
Yeah, yeah. So, for those who don't know Sean Go, what have you been doing? What rock have you been chilling under? Sean Go is a renowned sneaker photographer or photographer in his own right, and a what I like to call a big time YouTuber, big time sneaker YouTuber as well. Um, that's my intro of you. Maybe you can tell the people what you do normally.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like when people ask me that, it's hard to pigeonhole myself because
Hmm.
at the end of the day, I'm just a guy, just like you, that really is just, I'm really passionate about shoes.
Yeah.
And I've just kind of found this niche that I've carved for myself. And whether that's through taking pictures for Instagram or creating video on YouTube,
Yeah.
it's just expressing my love and passion for shoes at the end of the day.
I think when we first met, quote unquote, it was through Instagram, and it was probably back in 2016 ish.
Mhm.
And you at the time, do you remember what your Instagram follower count was? It was, I think,
Back in 2016,
in the
ballpark probably
tens,
around 10, around 10K, I think, at that point.
10K. Yep. And you were pretty well known in the sneaker community as a dope photographer, right? So you're taking did did you have photography skills before jumping into sneaker shooting, or was it just sneaker shooting your entry point into like the camera works?
No, so it was definitely much more like, I don't know, just a hobby I would do on vacations and stuff like
Uh-huh.
that. So my portfolio back then, or even before 2016, it was a lot more varied, a
Okay.
lot more landscape photography and just like food photography and just people photography, which I still do. I
Yeah.
just don't really post it on my Esco8 Instagram account, but
Okay.
I just had a general interest in photography and a general interest in sneakers, and the two kind of merged and became what it is today, I guess.
Did you take like a class to learn photography, or uh, I think a lot of Instagram shooters are like self-taught?
Yeah, it was definitely self-taught. I started back probably 2000, and I don't even know, like mid 2000s, when it was like those brick 5 megapixel,
five
5 pound cameras.
five was like the top of the line.
Yeah, those Sony 5 megapixel cameras. But I started back in the day with that, and then I just step by step just evolved with DSLRs, and now I've started working with mirrorless cameras. So it's been a nice journey. It's been fun.
Hmm. And from there, at what point do you remember the point at which you were like, you know what? I like sneakers. I like taking photos. This is the path I want to be on, like sneaker photos.
I don't think there was like a specific point in time where I said, it's I'm going to focus all my energy on this stuff. It's
Hmm.
more a very gradual process as I started uploading more sneaker photos
Yeah.
on not only Instagram, but I was also part of I'm still part of Niketalk, and back in the day there was Soul Collector forums.
Hold on there. You're still part of Niketalk.
Yeah, man,
Are
it's still
you
alive.
still logging in and checking the
I
chat?
yeah,
For real?
totally.
I'm
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. We'll talk about that a bit later. But okay, go on. Uploading
Yeah.
photos.
So I'd post on Nike Talk and Soul Collector, and later on in life on Instagram and Twitter
Yeah.
and stuff. And just the reception I got from those photos were
Hmm.
extremely positive, and it just kind of, I guess it told me like I was doing something right, and people were appreciative of my work.
Yeah.
So yeah, so because of that, I just started dedicating more time and energy towards that.
Okay. And I know that by the time I found you on Instagram, you were already doing a bit of work, if we could call that, with Finish Line. Am I right? Was that one of
Yeah,
the,
so
yeah.
the reason or the how that came to be was I used to be part, or I am still part of Team Roshi. It's you know,
I'm not laughing at
it's
the
dead.
I'm I'm more my reaction is more a commentary on how are these things still around? And it's not that, they shouldn't be, because that's great that they're still around, but I mean, if you
Yeah, yeah,
Roshis, anyways, go, keep going. Sorry.
yeah. So for anyone that's not aware, Team Roshi is basically a group of Nike Roshi enthusiasts, and we came together through Nike Talk. See, Nike Talk works.
Years
We
ago.
came together
Yes,
through Nike
go.
Talk, yeah, years ago,
Yeah.
back in my younger days, and from that it became a Facebook group, and from Facebook it became an Instagram page,
Yeah.
and that grew. I think at its peak it was around 300,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah, that's insane, man.
It is right.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Finish Line was the first company that reached out to Team Roshi to work with us,
Yeah.
and they started seeding us product and giving us like first access to news and stuff like that. And through that, because I was the one that was mainly running their Instagram account at the time,
Oh, nice. Okay.
um, Finish Line noticed my personal account, and
Yeah.
then it branched out to working with me as Sean Go directly.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Okay. And I think you mentioned Team Roshi being invited to Beaverton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, that's that.
Walk me through that. Tell me everything. Like who got the email?
So this was at our peak
Yeah.
around when we were at like 300K. The momentum
On
was
Nike
like
Talk.
all
Yeah. The
there.
peak on Nike Talk. Yeah.
Oh no, I mean like on this guy, man, this guy. This interview's done. This interview's done.
No. I'm, you ain't got the answers. Yeah. Okay. Go. Sorry. I'm going to go. I want to hear this
No,
story.
no.
Go.
So yeah, Team Roshi, we were at the peak of the Roshi hype,
Yeah.
uh, and I don't remember how, because we were in contact with Dylan Rash, who is the
Okay.
designer of the Roshi, and I think he must have pulled some strings, and he invited. I think there was about like 7 or 8 of us. We
That's
were
a
like
lot of
the
people.
core, like the
Yeah.
core members of Team Roshi that kind of ran things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they invited us to fly into Beaverton. We toured the Nike World Headquarters campus. We sat down with the Nike sportswear team to discuss like what the
Ooh.
audience likes and dislikes about the Roshi, and then they gifted us uh, like a PE Roshi
Oh
with like
yeah,
there's like Team Roshi branding on the tongue and the back heel.
thick,
Yeah, so that was
insane. Okay,
yeah, that's crazy.
so I don't know if you can talk about the details, but like they invited you out. Did you guys have to like pay your own way and stuff, or
Certain things were comped.
okay, okay,
I'll leave it at that.
we'll
Yeah,
leave it at that. That's
yeah.
cool. But just so it's clear, if anyone from Portland ever invites me anywhere and I have to pay my own way, I'm paying my own freaking way. Like I'll be there. That's the
Oh
only
yeah,
response.
I
Yeah.
would have paid everything, man, if I had to.
Forget it. Forget it. Yeah. Okay, very cool. So you got to tour the campus, right? And this
Yeah,
7 or 8 guys is a lot. I don't know. I don't know. Like it's not like I get invited to Nike anytime or often or whatever, but like 7 or 8 guys seems like a big crew to like bring into like the campus. And then they they gave you a little tour. Did you get to use any of the stuff there? They have the court there. I know they have a basketball court. They have like an outdoor basketball court. They had like, was it a day thing or like a few day thing?
it was being on the Nike campus was just a day thing. So
Okay.
unfortunately, we didn't get to like use the facilities, but we did get access to the Nike employee store, which is always nice. So that
Yes.
50% off perk
Yes.
and no tax.
Yes. And I remember I've been to Portland once, like, and like the employee store. What I remember the most is when you buy the shoe, when you check out. I don't know if they still do this. They stamp the shoe.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
says
yeah, yeah,
you're
they
right,
do.
ES
Yeah,
for employee store. I was like, oh, cool. That's a
keep
reminder
that
that I got
receipt.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, and how did they? Did you guys know that they were gonna gift you like a PE Roshi?
No, we didn't. Like, we didn't know. Like, I think they'd asked for our sizes, but we
Mm,
thought like,
yeah,
could have been
a
anything.
little bit of
Not
swag.
something not something with the Team Roshi logo for sure.
Was it? Because if I remember correctly, the Team Roshi logo was like a big tree, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That tree.
I like it. I like that logo a lot. It's very zen like, very like chill.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
And they put that logo on the shoe, or just like the
yeah.
wordings. Oh,
The actual Team Roshi, like the word mark and the tree in the middle.
that's pretty big. I gotta say, because right, they're putting another logo on their product, which is
Yeah,
very cool. And
yeah. Very flattering, man. Definitely crazy experience.
is that your only time in Portland?
I went back maybe 4 years ago
Okay,
with my now wife, but we were just like
I'll just chilling.
vacationing. But we
Okay.
I hit up like someone and we went to the ES again. Always.
Okay, let I don't know if anyone's listening from Portland, but like, if you had the choice between the tour again and to chit chat with everyone, or hit up the employee store, which
I gotta go
they're
with the
both
tour,
good,
yo.
right?
Like
They're both super
I gotta go with
good.
the tour. Unless you're, because I think like people line up now to get like the super hype stuff. Like the employees have to like line
Oh,
up
okay, okay, okay. Yeah, then it's not worth it. I mean, it is worth it, but not like,
for different reasons. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes, yes. Yeah, the tour is cool. See, did you get to we did we go into the Michael Jordan building? Did you go into it? Yeah.
Yeah, they've all like the OG Jordans, right? Like the
Yeah,
retro.
yeah,
Like sorry,
yeah,
like the 1 to like 14 or whatever, just lined up.
yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
It's yeah, everything. Did you go into the cafeteria? Which is like the weirdest question, but did you go in there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We did.
And did you see the table that's reserved for Phil Knight?
No, I don't think I saw
No.
that. No,
There's
like
a
we probably
booth.
just like walked by.
Okay, so we went in there because we were 3 people, and we're just walking around, and we go into the caf and we actually ate there. But yeah, there's like a booth, and no one sits there. It says reserved for Phil Knight, and there's a newspaper, like the daily
Nice.
newspaper there, set there for him. Like, oh man, yeah, pretty funky. It
That's
was great.
crazy.
Everything. When we were there, Kaepernick was there.
Like you saw him,
Yeah,
or
he walked into the
oh,
calf with his crew
oh
and all the
man,
Nike people. This is way before though. This is way before the kneeling and everything. Uh, what year was it? Frick, I don't remember. But it was way before, like 2015, 16 ish. Anyways, so yeah, he
yeah,
walked in,
nice.
and then we saw him in like the courtyard, like the middle of all the buildings and stuff. Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah.
Did you guys like say hi to him, or he was
No,
kind of
you're
like
not
off
allowed.
and oh
You weren't allowed to, like, he had security, but not like on him, just
yeah,
a perimeter, like a few guys. And like everyone there is like a Nike employee, right? So they know the protocol, but
yeah,
we weren't Nike employees. So my friend was trying to take a pic of him, but they're like, no, 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 don't do it. Like, act as if
yeah,
you've been here before. So my friend couldn't. She stood like super far and she did the reverse selfie, like taking a
nice,
selfie and kept them in the background type thing. But yeah, that was it.
cool,
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah. All right. So uh Portland, that was cool. In your sneaker photography, uh do you so there's, I always see it as two different types of shots. Either you're doing like product shots or you're doing like lifestyle shots, right? Where I think the lifestyle shots you
Mhm.
get to be a bit more creative. And I think I mentioned to you that what there was one photo from you that really, really caught my eye. It was like the moon landing Air Max. And you were, and it, the idea is so simple. Like you're standing like in a field of gravel, but the
Mhm.
way that you shot it and the lighting and the angle made it look like you were on the moon.
Yeah, 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 I remember that picture.
Yeah. So did you, these days, I assume that you focus more on product shooting or like product with a slight twist of lifestyle into it. Maybe you can walk us through the process of how you choose what type of photo you're going to take for whatever product.
It's interesting because like it's not like I have like a game plan or like
Okay.
a set like method whenever I'm shooting my pictures. I kind of just go by the feel, like what I envision. Like usually if I'm shooting a specific shoe, like I hold it in hand and I think like what can I do
Mm-hmm.
with this? And then
Mm-hmm.
usually something just kind of pops in my mind and I kind of know like what realistically I can do, like
Yeah.
if I need like certain props or whatever, or what I can get accessible in hand and stuff like that. But it's not like trying to steer it in one way or the other. It's just more so on a case by case basis. Something just kind of speaks to me, and then I try to execute that
Okay.
through a photo, right? So
All right. So it's like a feeling thing. You get look at the shoe and say, you look like this type of shoe for this
yeah,
type of shot.
exactly.
Man, I'd be, because for the amount of sneakers or apparel that you receive, I would find it like nerve wracking to not know what to do with the shoe before I get it. So yeah, props to you, man. I don't, I have to have like a game plan, or else I'm like,
Yeah.
eh. And do you get, do you, what I, there's some things, some shoes that have like a theme to them, right? Like for example, Sour Patch Kids for like those Under
Hmm.
Armour Curries, right? Or just recently there's like a Lego Adidas sneaker, right? do, do you do you do you see a line where the picture becomes too themed, like it's just too themed, like you're falling under the cheesy zone, right? So do you, I don't know, do you work with that line, or do you try to figure out, let's stay away from being too themed and just focus on the shoe? Or
Yeah, I don't think there's like a right or wrong answer. At the end of the day, like I think the quality and
Mhm.
composition of your photo kind of speaks for yourself. Like
Yeah.
it could be super cheese, but if you execute it in a killer way and you
Yeah.
pull it off, then hey, like more power to you, right? And
Okay.
at the same time, you could like for like the
Yes.
Sour Patch Kids curry, maybe you don't even want any product placement in it, and you just want to put it against like a wall that's like a similar color. But if you pull that off and the composition, all that stuff looks good, then
Yes.
So to me, like I don't really I'm not like judge and jury on whether something's too much cheese or not. Like
Okay.
just go by how you feel and then do your thing, right? And
Yeah.
let the work speak for itself.
Do you so you don't this next question is kind of touchy, right? So you can decide not to answer and we'll just leave it at that. But when you get a shoe and sometimes the shoe is not necessarily your speed, okay? It's a shoe, but it's technically not something that you're a super fan of. Would you then think of using more props to enhance the photo so that your product, meaning your photo taking, stays up to par? Do you understand what I'm trying to get to, or like what my question is?
You're saying if the shoe is a shoe I don't like, or sorry, what was the?
Yeah. So let's say I get a shoe that I don't particularly like. Okay. Like I look at the shoe and say, this is not really something I would wear. And I don't know if I would try to buy it myself. But I need to take a good photo. So I'm going to
Mhm.
prop up the photo by using a lot of props or
Got
something
it, got it, got
to
it.
punch up the photo to make it special, to offset my
Yeah,
true feelings about the shoe.
yeah. That I 100% agree with actually.
Yeah.
If it's something like universally liked, and it's a super hype shoe, maybe
Yes.
you just need to just have some good lighting, put it
Yes,
on like
sir.
the floor or something, and people are like, whoa, it's the
Yeah.
whatever Chicago Jordan 1, like everyone loves that.
Yeah.
But if it's something like, I'm not going to name names, but another shoe that
Yes.
people don't like as much, then yeah, you definitely would need to up your creativity, up the just the work that goes behind
Yeah.
that photo to
Okay.
enhance it and to make it more appealing.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I need to when I see people's photos, I try to go behind the scenes and see like,
Mhm.
okay, this is what they're trying to do, and this is why they did it. And also, okay, you know what bothers me a lot, and this is it's nothing personal, but you live in Toronto, I live in
Yeah.
Montreal. A lot of the brands are from Toronto or have a headquarters in Toronto, and when they ship out product, it gets to you before it gets to me because I'm in Montreal because of shipping time, And then you, sir, are extremely fast with your turnaround in terms of taking photos and producing a video, thus putting pressure on me to produce right away as well. And I'm not saying and see, I don't get as much stuff as you do. So when I do get something and then you are applying pressure, then it's a lot of pressure on me. Okay. So yeah, maybe it is a little personal. That's all I got to say, Mr. Sean Go. That being said, I think I did ask you before how long it takes you to actually get the product, shoot, and then actually also record a review video.
Mhm.
And what did you say? Uh,
I said roughly around like 4 hours
four
from
four
start to
hours.
finish. And the problem with, I guess, not a problem, it's the issue I have is because I'm not only creating content for YouTube,
Yeah.
I'm also creating content at the same time for my Instagram page.
Okay.
So the bottleneck usually in the process is taking the photos for Instagram because um, YouTube, it's sort of formulaic. Like I have
Okay.
like a set background, take those B-roll footage, then record myself, do the on-feed, all that stuff, and then put it all together. But
Okay.
then with the photos, I can't be as repetitive. I'm always trying to be find something new and a new way to
Hmm.
capture the shoes. So
Yeah.
that requires me like walking around the neighborhood or like just thinking about like ways I can take these photos. So that takes like a good chunk of time. So I know a lot of YouTubers, I guess they don't focus on taking, or they don't focus on their photography. So
Yeah.
their thumbnails, for example, would be just them like holding the shoe
Yeah.
or like just like the shoe on a white background or something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, I really want my photography to be something I leverage to make me different than a lot of the other content creators on YouTube.
Yeah. Definitely. I see that for sure. Some people, yeah, different more lines on your resume. Photographer, YouTuber.
Yeah, I guess you could say
Uh
that.
um so maybe you can walk us through the timeline of one project, let's say. Like you already mentioned that the Instagram photo is the bottleneck. So I assume you get the shoe and first order of business is photos.
Usually it's the detailed shots, like the B-roll footage. So like
Oh, okay.
the close-ups of like all the different angles because sometimes I wear the shoe for the photos, and once
Yes.
you do that, the sole's like done, right?
Yeah. Oh, shoot. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
So
B-roll video and then photos?
and then it's kind of up in the air. Then it depends on like the time of the day. If my wife's home, because like I'm recording out of my condo,
Yeah.
and if she's home, it's kind of unfair for her to be like, I'm like, hey, can you be quiet for like half an hour or something? I'd rather
Take
not for
75.
many reasons.
Yeah.
So yeah, it depends on like timing, but it's I balance between recording myself. If the timing of the day is right, the sunlight is good, then I'll do the on feed on my balcony,
Yeah.
and then taking the photos like usually outside.
Okay, yes. All right. And then you do your kind of your intro shoe info portion. I call it your monologue when you're in the front of the camera to start the video.
Yeah, so again, it depends on like the timing of the day, but
Okay.
those three, like the on feed, monologue, and the still footage or
Yeah.
still photos, those three kind of interchangeable.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. And so let's dive into your YouTube career. All
Hmm.
right. Uh do you remember around what year you started that?
Yeah, I started it. I think July 2016.
Okay.
I think. Yeah,
July.
I think it was July 2016.
Okay. See, I base a lot of timelining, timelining,
Time?
timelining. According to 2016, because 2016 uh, is when I think Converse got involved with a lot of us Canadian content creators, right?
Yeah.
So um, I know Converse invited you out to New York at a certain point, and you were part of a crew of content creators that did YouTube. You just happened to also be very good at photography, but most of your crew were YouTubers, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And maybe I think you told me that was your first invitation out of country to do like a sneaker project or sneaker activation.
Yeah. At that point, my YouTube was, I don't remember the exact date, but my channel was still very fresh.
Okay.
And I'd worked with brands before, just in terms of like getting seeded product and
Yeah.
then making reviews and taking photos for those products. But that Converse invitation was the first time a brand not only has ever like flown me out of the country, but is by far like the biggest,
Yeah.
um, what do you want to call it, like experience I've
Yeah.
ever taken part of. Yeah.
How many days was that?
It was like two, I think
Two.
two or
Yeah.
two or I think 2 days.
So I don't know if people realize how big that is. Like, so they're flying you out. They're covering your hotel accommodations. They're feeding you for
Yeah.
two full
Good,
days.
like good food too. It wasn't just like
Oh,
McDonald's, like,
yeah.
yeah.
It's not like they give you like a ticket and you here use this gift card somewhere. It's they take you to restaurants.
Yeah, yeah, legit.
Yeah, and your days are full. Did you have any
Yeah.
time? Did you have any downtime during that?
There's a couple hours where me and a few of the other guys were able to like explore New
Mhm.
York for a bit, but for the most part, there was like certain times that were blocked off throughout the day that we had to be at certain places to do certain things.
I was uh I was late all the time. I got invited to New York as well with Converse. Not on the same trip as Sean, but like previously. And I was late often, or like really like, where are you, Chris? And I'm like, I'm on my way.
Who'd you go with on your trip?
So yeah, on my trip, it was the first time that I met Christian from Sneaker Talk
Mhm.
and Thomas from Heat Ledger. And then there was the people from Sidewalk Hustle were there.
Nice.
And
So
yeah,
is it purely like Canadian or?
well, so the activation was for also Converse. I think it was a Converse Modern, and there all the big blogs were invited from
Oh,
around
okay.
the world. Sorry, Sneaker Freaker were there. Sneaker
Nice.
Freaker, a lot of like European entities were there. Nice Kicks, the shoe game. Like we hung out with G Rock, Juan back when he was with Kicks on Fire,
Hmm.
uh, and Jacques Slade. It's just like,
Nice. Wow.
but like
Crazy.
I felt left. I didn't feel left out, but like, dude, we come down the elevator and we're in the lobby, and then Jacques Slade was there, and he's talking to Heat Ledger and Christian, and they're like, what do you guys do? They're like, YouTube. I say, yeah, YouTube game, and I'm like, what do you do? I'm like, I do a blog. They're like, oh, really? Where? I go from Montreal, and they're like, Montreal. I spoke to this girl, Shannon, Sharon. Oh, dude, I forget. This is so bad. I forget her name. But she goes, oh, I go, hi, my name's Chris, and she's like, hi, and she goes, so what outlet are you with? And I'm like, outlet. Oh, that's a good word. So what outlet are you with? I'm like, the Bragg Affair. She's like, oh, I go from Montreal. She's like, oh, I go, how about you? She's like, nice kicks. I'm like, oh wow. I go, how long have you been with them? She's like, oh, I'm the co-founder. I'm like, damn it.
Oh my God.
I go, what am I doing here?
Oh my God.
But yeah, I felt out of place, man. But yeah, and then the me being late to everything was kind of put a lot of
Oh,
pressure.
you just had one job, man. Just show up. Just show up on time, man.
I know. I was just late to everything, and I like upset people. But yeah, anyways, it was so fun. But yeah, um, so you get invited to New York. Um, how did you feel when you got the invitation? Like you've been doing photography for a lot of brands. You just started your YouTube, and you get invited. Did
Mhm.
you know it was like a YouTube centric crew?
No, not at the time.
Okay.
I got that email from shout out to Nikki, formerly
Shout out
from
to Nikki.
Converse.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I remember distinctly. I was like, is this real life?" I'm like, because it
Yeah.
said on the email like we'll be flying you to New York City for
Yeah.
like the 2 days or something. And I was like, what? So I told my then girlfriend at the time. I'm like, yo,
I gotta
this
go.
is actually happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just unreal. And then like going there, I kind of felt like you in many ways because I felt like I was like small potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Like who am I? Like I don't know. I just take pictures.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, it was a very YouTube focused group. So there was
Yeah.
Sneaker Talk again was there.
Mm-hmm.
Six reviews from Toronto. There was Seth Fowler, who was much smaller at the time. Like he's probably now at like close to 1 million subscribers now, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think at the time he was probably like,
But was he wasn't part of your crew? Because so for those who don't know, like Converse will have a rep for every country, and they bring in their people, right? So Mickey was in
mhm.
charge of the Canadian people, Canadian content creators, and she would be our handler, right? basically our mom for the whole trip. But
Yeah,
like Seth, he's American. Was he part of another crew or?
I'm not sure because our because when we went up for meals, it was just the Canadian crew.
Yeah.
But for some reason, like there was, I guess there must have been another rep representing like the states
Uh huh.
because Seth Fowler was there. Kick Genius, those the two guys.
Yes.
I don't think I don't think they're together anymore. But at the time, like they were there, and then like Emily Oberg was there. So there's a lot of like
Yeah.
heavy hitters, and I'm just walking in like, well, okay, like, and I don't normally vlog. I don't do vlogs either, but like
Yes.
that was like an experience I had to do that for.
Document. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just for on a personal level, just to remember it, right?
And do you? So you, I ass- I was super nervous. Were you nervous going into this?
Do you remember? I think I called you. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. You called me, and I think was this the first time we spoke, or we? I think maybe we chatted on Instagram, but we spoke on the phone, and you called me, and you asked me, so what did you do? Like, what did I do while I was there? And I think I said, well, look, especially Mickey, she's very good at knowing her people, like who she's bringing along to whatever event. So she knew exactly what you did and to just do what you normally do because that's why they quote unquote signed you onto this project, right?
Hmm.
But also, I just had because I wasn't a big blog, I figured I had to be first to produce something, first to get out there. So if there's any chance of them noticing me, it's because, oh wait, someone already put something out. Let's look at that. And then he goes, oh, it's that guy. Uh,
It's that guy that didn't know who the Nice Kicks co-founder was.
yeah, that guy. Yeah, being noticed for something good rather than something embarrassing. But yeah, being first out was kind of my like. I think that's my only opening. So during I don't remember if I told you this, but I said just have a game plan, and I think I did tell you that throughout the whole trip, I was writing. I was
Hmm.
writing my articles and publishing stuff while it was happening, so that I'd be first out.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, yeah.
did did my
I remember that.
did my phone call alleviate any of the uh, anxiety?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Just to have someone like who's walked those steps
Yeah,
before to prep me on what to expect and what to do. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, like I think you, like you said, like I was chosen to be invited for a reason.
yes, yeah,
They appreciate what you do, so I was like, all right, so I'm just gonna do what I normally do, which is take nice pictures and
yeah,
put up, you know, a semi decent video, which I did, and it was a little bit different because I don't have a blog and I don't like write articles and stuff like that. So instead
yeah,
of like posting on the fly, it was more so like Instagram story updates and
yep,
just getting my video up pretty much the next day after I landed back in Toronto.
yeah. Exactly. That's the only thing you can hope for. And the tricky thing about content creation and doing these trips and doing activations is you never know if what you're doing is right until afterwards.
Yeah, for
After
sure.
yeah, you put it out and then the response is what tells you if it's good or not,
Hmm.
regardless of how seasoned you are or how new you are at this thing. So yeah, definitely like to me that trip was like a kick in the butt. Not that I was slouching or anything, but it at that point I was like, yo, I'm excited about doing this stuff now. Did you feel
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
right? You
Like
felt
I think that was after that it was like okay, like I've taken it to another level where
yeah.
I'm being invited with like the caliber of people that I was with. It
Mm.
was like I felt like I could really, you know, take advantage of this and take it to the next level.
So do you and now we're 4 years later almost. And your what's your YouTube subscriber count at now?
As of now, I think it's 84,000.
Yeah, monster man. Do you feel like um what do you what do you like about the YouTube game, and what do you like about versus not versus what you like about the photo game, but just tell me what you like out about both. Like what each of them give you.
Hmm. For Instagram, definitely it would be the outlet for my creativity.
Okay.
I've loved taking photos since high school,
Yeah.
and I've loved shoes since high school. So marrying those two passions is, and having Instagram as that outlet is like the perfect blend for me. Um, on the other hand, Instagram, I don't know what do I don't like. I guess there's a lot of clout chasing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, we've kind of touched on it before about like cheesiness. I see
Yeah, like
you didn't mention like you didn't have so much of a problem with it, but I was like, the purpose of this photo is what? And yeah,
I don't
you're
know. I
talking
don't know
about
if
that or
I don't know. It's not really the cheese factor. It's more so people not being like true to themselves, and they're posting certain things or like doing things in a certain way because that's like hot or because that's going to
okay.
get them followers and recognized and stuff like that. So basically, they're doing things for the purpose of trying to get clout and get famous and get recognized, which
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if you're not being true to yourself, I'm not a big fan of.
Okay. Yep. Yep. Okay. I see that for sure. Yeah, definitely a pet peeve. And YouTube, what's a good side of YouTube? Like what has YouTube given you back?
Yeah, huge man. The YouTube thing is huge. I'm At the end of the day, I still am someone that I don't like being in front of the camera. I much prefer being the one shooting my pictures and videos.
This
But
is the
YouTube,
dude
like,
that sorry, this is the dude that asked me if we could record this Zoom meeting.
um, yeah, but it really pushed me out of my shell. It pushed me out of my comfort zone.
Okay,
When I
good.
decided to do it back in 2016, I was like, I'm gonna take a risk. If this bombs, at least I tried. I'll
Yeah.
have like one or two videos, and then that's it. But like even to this day, like I'm still trying to develop my presence in front of the camera and be more comfortable. And yeah, I think seeing the reception I've gotten and the growth that I've gotten on the channel, it's been amazing. Like I did not expect. Like for example, like I'll be browsing Reddit
Okay.
on the sneakers subreddit, uh, and then there'll be like a post about like I don't know, like sneaker or YouTube or something. And then I'll see people mention like, oh, like I don't mess with that guy, but I do watch these channels. And then sometimes my name will be mentioned with
Yeah.
like Jacques Slade and
Oh,
Seth
cool. Yeah,
Fowler
yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
like like Fomer and like I'm like these guys are like I look up to these guys
Yeah.
and I'm being put on that same level. It's still kind of weird. Like I'm still just I feel like a regular guy, but people are
Uh-huh.
like, oh, like yeah, his content's crazy. He's a really genuine guy. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's all true. I mean, if anything, we know what we're getting from Sean Go when we tune into your YouTube videos or even your photos, because I I use you as like a reference for a lot of information for sneakers, and uh, the occasional text to you at night saying, "Is this shoe worth it?" And you know exactly what to answer to me. Like you tell me if it's a hit or if it's a miss, or they could have done better, or I always get a straight answer from you, and from there I'm able to gauge whether I should be looking into the shoe a bit more or I should just push it aside. So I appreciate that from the Sean Go productions. um all right, let's I think we'll get one more answer out of you, one more question out of you. and then we'll call it an episode. Um, in terms of being recognized as a YouTuber and, like, let's say, a photo taker, does it matter to you much that we tag you as the Canadian YouTuber, a Canadian photo taker, a Canadian, or you much rather, be thought of as just a YouTuber, just a photo taker?
Um, on one hand, um, like I'm very proud to be a Canadian,
Yeah,
and I think if I was not living in Canada,
yeah,
I definitely wouldn't have grown to where I am today. And I think you can agree to that as well on your end.
100. Yes, yes, sir.
Like being in Canada, where I guess bigger fishes in a much smaller pond.
Mm,
Whereas if I was trying to start this from scratch down south in the States, there's so much competition,
so
and
much.
like the brands are working with these giants in the industry already. So it would be very tough for you and I to crack the radar of these brands, right?
Yeah,
So
100%.
on that end, like I'm very grateful that I'm in Canada. On the other hand, I think my content. Well, first off, the majority of my audience is actually from the U.S. By far,
Hmm.
a lot. Um, and like at the end of the day, content is content, and I
Yes,
think
sir.
the stuff I produce, it doesn't really matter that I'm in Canada or North America or wherever. Like, it's just hopefully people see it as just good quality content, regardless of what I look like, where I'm from, or whatever.
Yeah, 100%. All right. I lied. I'm going to ask you one more question.
Go for it,
Do you
man.
feel like you've had an effect on sneaker culture? And then we can go a bit more precise in Canada. Do you feel like you've had an effect on sneaker culture in Canada, or even like throughout North America, if you want, if you think that's part of the answer?
Yeah, I would say so. Specifically, well, not only it's both YouTube and Instagram, but the reason I say that is because I'll encounter random people sometimes
Hmm.
that will either they recognize me on the street, or like we'll eventually meet after like years after they've been following me, and
Yeah.
they'll say to me like, either like, we really appreciate your content, or they were trying to find information on XYZ, and then
Hmm.
they found my channel and it was really helpful. So things like that really makes me feel good that I'm doing something positive for the culture, and it's not just a channel full of uh, clickbait, and I'm not just
Yes, sir.
solely talking about like hyped shoes, which I do sometimes, but my channel and the content I do isn't solely dedicated on those sort of things. And I
Yeah.
think like hearing that positive feedback is very good to hear.
I think I saw once you posted in your stories how um was it a StockX rep, an employee, like was dealing with one of your cases, and then they were like, "Are you the Sean Go?" Like the YouTuber Sean Go? And they're like, "Cause I watch all your stuff," or something. Remember that? You posted it on your stories. It was like a customer service case with
Sorry, you're cutting off.
oh shit, sorry. Like there was like a customer service case where a rep from, I think, StockX contact, like you were in contact with them, and then they were like, "By the way, are
Oh
you
yeah,
the Sean Go from YouTube?"
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think was it StockX, or
probably
I don't
StockX.
remember. I think it was Stock. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But I had an issue with I don't know, was it a sale or an order, and the person that replied back, because they can see my name and info
Uh
and
huh.
stuff, and they're like, they gave me the generic response first, and then they're like, at the bottom it's like, by the way, are you Sean Go the YouTuber? If you are, I'm a big fan, and like, thanks for doing what you do, which is
Yeah, which
funny in
is
a way,
crazy,
but
right?
flattering as
Oh,
well.
yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, those are the best like type of responses. Like for me, I was like, oh wow, that's so cool. Like for me to see that coming from you, I'm like, damn, look at that dude go. That's when it's like random people make it a point to come out to you and say, hey man, I check your shit out, and you're like, fuck yeah, that's cool. Yeah. All right. So Sean, hey man, thanks for doing this take number 2 with me. Uh,
2.1, man, 2.1.
2.1. I can't promise that the audio on this recording is good as well. So maybe, hey, maybe we'll go to a third round. We'll see. No, it should be all right. Uh, so if the people want to find what you do, why don't you give them some of your tags, your usernames?
Yeah, sure. You can find me on Instagram at SGO8. So that's SGO8. My Twitter, for some reason, it was banned about a year ago. I don't know why. But my new and improved Twitter is Sean.go. So SEANDOTGO.
Mm-hmm.
And YouTube, of course, youtube.com/SeanGo.
Very cool. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Sneaker People Pod. You can find our any of our episodes on the Sneaker Podcast channel. The link will be in the bio of the Instagram if you like, or you could just go to the Sneaker Podcast Instagram at the Sneaker Podcast. I am Chris Chu. You can find me at Christopher.Chu. Tune in next time when we'll interview another sneaker person. And hope you enjoyed everything. Drop us a DM if you have any suggestions or any comments. And thank you for being a part of this. Peace.